Hello and welcome to the Big 5-0 for Bradders Grappers. Hello. So, because it's all expense spared on this podcast, we don't do expensive shit. We like to do things on the cheap. Anywho, this is a Bradders Grappers episode 50, the big one, and we're doing a special double header show which took place at the Stockport Guildhall as Futureshock Wrestling had its sort of go home show in a way before the big anniversary show at the MMU in Manchester on August the 15th as End of the Line took place. But before we look back at that doubleheader, we are joined by friend of the show, Bolton Joe.
Hey, hello.
Good evening.
How Good evening to you. Thank you for having me on once again. I'm glad I didn't embarrass myself enough last time that you're willing to invite me back onto your lovely podcast.
And to be fair, this is the second time we actually have you in physical form.
I know. I am actually here for a change, so I can react in real time. We can
Be-
have actual conversation instead of just me appearing randomly through mysterious voice
through the
transmissions.
ether, which
Aye.
does make me laugh that people still actually think that you were in the room recording when we done those.
I'm clearly just that good a voice actor. I'm just
It's
that good as a voice. I have a natural presence wherever I am.
it's obviously your calling that you've missed is being a voice
Indeed.
actor.
Aye.
Um, so as I say, this is looking back at End of the Line. Um, I'll ask you before I give my take. What were your pre-thoughts going into this doubleheader?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm someone who doesn't necessarily follow Future Shock all that well
Hmm.
comparative to other regular guests on this podcast.
Hmm.
I very much came to this show for the vibes.
Yes.
I knew some of what was going on, I knew some of the matches, I knew the general idea of some stuff, but I was there to hang out, enjoy the wrestling, and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say I very much did have a good time.
It was warm.
It was a little bit, yes.
Yes. I genuinely thought at one point I was going to pass out
Aye.
before we had that 15-minute break
Aye, and a
because
very
I
helpful 15-minute break.
yeah, because I actually went woozy, which no
It was
one
a it was
actually knew.
it was a very humid day where it was warm, but also it was very the outside was very temperate because of the weather, because it was a bit on and off.
Yeah.
So it all felt a bit like the air. There was a lot of atmospheric pressure in the air.
Because
So I'm not
apparently,
surprised.
because apparently we had it raining while the show was going on.
I believe so. That's why I ended up bringing a waterproof, and I immediately regretted it the second I walked out. I walked out flat because I was like, "It's not going to rain for the rest of the day now, or if it does, I'm going to entirely miss it." And surprise, surprise, I did. So,
Yeah, I, I think when we had the inter or say the intermission, so to speak, the in between of show one and two,
mm.
the weather was fine. We
Oh,
didn't have rain happening.
no,
It bit
It was very windy. It was very
yeah,
gusty. Aye,
yes,
but
um, gusty and threatening rain, but never actually came through, other than obviously during the show.
aye.
Um, so my pre-thoughts on this, and I did put it in one of the Discord groups,
Mm.
that across the two shows, show one looked to be by far the better show compared to show two,
Mm.
on the basis that we had more matches and it felt more like the important stuff, if you want to go
Mm.
down that line, seemed to be happening more on show one than particularly show two.
Mm.
Um, though I did feel show two is really going to be more storyline driven. So it's
Aye.
going to kind of like hammer home, come to the anniversary show. This is going to happen. That's going
Mm.
to happen.
Aye. That was kind of the vibe of a lot of the show, really. A lot of the
Yeah.
big sort of main eventy era stuff was like building to here are the big matches going into anniversary. So
Hmm.
I'm not surprised in that respect.
So we will start off with match number one, the opener. So the debuting Brady Philips against Alejandro West. What was your vibe on this one?
I thought it was a fantastic little opener.
Yeah.
This I thought it was a perfect sort of mismatch between styles, where
Mm.
Alejandro is the small lightweight who can take a lot of punishment but keep fighting back against this big dominant arsehole like Brady Phillips. And they both played those roles really well in that respect. It's
Yes.
the perfect sort of get the crowd invested in a very simple, understandable storyline of small good guy, big bad guy. They clash. You want to see the good guy pull out the win. It's perfect. It was for what it needed to be as an opener. It was totally ideal.
It did its job, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Because we've, I'm not sure if you've seen, yes, you have seen West a few times
Yes,
at
I've
the
seen
Fair
West a
Club.
few times now.
So, what's your view on West?
I quite like him. He is that kind of like lightweight style. He's not quite. He is a bit of a high flyer, but he's closer to like light heavyweight in that respect, like an
Hmm.
old school kind of like light heavyweight title kind of guy, like a Taka Michinoku kind of fella who can
Yeah.
do a lot of. He's generally smaller, but he can do a lot of the same kind of stuff that the heavyweights do. But he can
Hmm.
just be a bit. He can pack a lot more in because of sort of his speed and agility in a lot of ways. And he's a perfect kind of sort of figure for taking punishment from a big meanie like Brady and
Yeah.
getting himself over by taking the punishment, but managing to always get out of it or pull off something quite impressive to get around it. That
It,
kind of guy. So,
it's a thing we were discussing the on when we were chatting on the Graps and Claps podcast the other day of
mm,
when you have the big wrestler against the small wrestler, you kind of the little the dominant wrestler is always going to kind of like do more of the beating and be more dominant. And
mm,
when there's like a little gap or whether the smaller wrestler can kind of just like get a little foothold in the door
mm,
and do a couple of moves and kind of like get some offensive. It worked very well with these two.
mm,
Um, because I think sometimes you can look at certain wrestlers. I mean, you look at West and you think he's probably going to be like a high flyer,
mm.
despite the fact that he is very skillful with the feet. And
Aye.
he's got a lot in his arsenal. So
Mm,
he can be kind of striking and high flying at the same time, which is
mm,
a very interesting mix because you don't get that with everyone. You either seem to be one or the other, not
mm.
particularly both. Uh, Brady Phillips, we both know. All,
Very well.
all, well, also you.
Aye.
Um, it,
Look, I was glad that I wasn't the one soaking up the pressure this time.
yes,
So
you had
I
a
was glad
day
that I
off this
managed.
time.
To be fair, it's because I was mostly at the back, so
Yes.
I was not noticed very much. But I was happy to take a break from being the victim of Brady's incessant bullying. So,
Um, to, to which we've said a few times of if you start a promotion and you need a really good kind of like evil, vindictive, kind of like bad guy,
mm,
I think Brady Phillips is going to be in that top five uh,
absolutely.
in terms of kind of like the bad guys.
Mm,
He is superb in his role.
mm.
Um, Always big fan of Brady, even though kind of like you shouldn't be, but
He is incredible at specifically the job he needs to do, which is
yes,
be a big powerhouse who can do loads of big, impressive strength moves,
yes,
and two, soaking up the heel pressure and
Yes.
riling up the crowd.
Yeah. And he
In
does that to perfection.
He is perfect at that.
I don't. Oh, I'm trying to think if there's anyone off the top of my head I can think of that can do that role equally or better than him.
I think
Uh,
they're few people. I'd say someone like Nathan Black is really good at it when he has to play heel, but he plays heel in a very particular kind of just doing his
it's
face stuff, but in an aggressive towards the audience way.
yeah,
Like Brady's a very specific old school kind of I'm just here to be mean and get in your face and be and
yeah,
show off in that respect. It's a very old school kind of heel heat,
but
comparatively.
it's what you need. I think more so like these days because
Mm.
a lot of people when they're kind of the the bad guy, they don't want to be the full on kind of like heel, so to speak.
Aye.
They want
People
to be
don't
a bit
necessarily
cool, but
people don't
not.
want to relish the hard work of getting in the crowd's face and genuinely like aggravating a crowd to some
Yes,
degree.
I
Aye.
mean, sometimes you can still do that and have the crowd kind of take to you, but
Mm,
um, it's a rare art to have everyone hate you.
exactly. Aye.
And Phillips does that to a T.
Absolutely.
Uh, the match though, because we haven't actually spoke about it.
Indeed.
Um, this was a really good match. Um,
Mm,
Phillips completely for has the lion's share of this contest
mm,
in his hand. West shows that he's kind of even though he's the little dog in the fight, he has a big heart and
mm.
just will not stay down. Will
He's got fighting spirit. He's got
that's
fighting
the term.
spirit.
Yeah, constantly gets up and will take it to Phillips.
Mm,
Does not back down at any point. Gets a few good moves in on him. Phillips though always felt like he was in charge. Yet
mm,
as the match went on, I'm thinking to myself, I can't see Phillips winning this because he's
mm,
not like a regular or kind of like
mm.
along the lines of that. So I'm always
Aye.
expecting like West to just like pop up and pick up a
Yeah.
win somehow, like a roll up.
Mm,
And then after Phillips hits the second lariat,
mm,
the the first one, I think I don't know if it was a slight miscue or
mm.
what they were
He
particular.
scuffed it a little bit, and the impact didn't have that same sort of like warmth that a lot of Brady's very good at making sure all his big power moves
Yes,
have that pure like effect of
and you
like
hear
the
the thud,
pure
you hear the
crash. But it felt like that first lariat didn't have that same thing. It just sort
mm,
of happened, and there wasn't any particular crash to it. So
yeah.
it did make people feel a bit like, oh. People had a
It,
little
it,
moment of like, was that
it
meant
was
to be? Mm,
it was half and half. It was almost like
yeah.
was he actually meant to get in that time, or
Mm,
were they going to do something else?
aye.
So they do a second one,
Mm,
which West kind of flips backwards. I heard someone say it's doing like the Osprey method of it, of
mm,
like flipping it round and then turning it into a move for them.
aye.
Uh, in the end, though, it sees, we'll say, a second successful lariat
Mm.
by Brady. Then hits the Phillips screwdriver move, which is a beautiful finishing move,
It's
in
fantastic.
my
Aye.
opinion.
Aye.
When hit as picture perfect
Mm.
as it was in this match, uh, you may be able to see the time, but we'll act as if you don't know.
Okay.
Would you like to take a guess how long this was?
I don't think it was. It felt a lot longer than it probably was, realistically, to me. So I'm gonna say 9 minutes 49.
8 minutes and 24 seconds.
See, it's even shorter than I thought it was.
Give or take a couple
Mm.
of it's probably longer. It's probably like 8 minutes 30, but
Mm. Yeah.
I didn't get the bell
Mm.
at the start.
Mm.
But I clocked it around 8:24, 8:30.
Okay.
Um, yeah, uh, good match, as we said. Future Shock
Hmm.
have a history this year of putting on really uh, banging opening matches,
Mm.
uh, going all the way back to the start of the year. Um, Almost kind of like sets the table, if you like, of
Aye.
try and
Well,
beat
the
that then.
well, the classic perceived wisdom is that the two matches you absolutely need to nail in a wrestling show are the very first one and the very last one.
Yes.
Aye, because
So
those are what kicks off your show, and it's what your audience is left with at the end.
hmm, I I think I was listening to a podcast about this, and I
Mm.
feel it's the first two matches because you got the first match and then the second match has to try and follow that,
Mm.
and then your main event, and then it's
Mm.
like the engine room, so to speak,
Aye.
of the show is kind of like just try and keep the trend going,
Aye. You just have to keep
which
the momentum going. It's usually around like match three or four that you can start kind of slowing the tone and be like, they're kind of invested now. We can kind of push forward.
yeah.
Aye.
So we come to match number two, which was Gen 1, Pele and James Grayson against Bryant Strong and Adam Shakespeare, with the added stipulation that should Gen 1 lose, they must disband.
Mm.
Uh, what were your vibes on this one?
Yeah, but it was a very good match. Very serviceable stuff from everyone involved. It's one of those things that, I know the stipulation is kind of the ongoing storyline there, but it very much made it clear immediately that Gen 1 could not lose this because it was much too early in the arc of this story
The
for it
run, yeah.
to be on the line. So there was never any doubt of what was going to happen. So it was more a case of seeing how these teams shake, especially when it's like a new guy like Adam Shakespeare, who this was the first time I've properly seen him. And I do quite like him. I'm quite impressed
Hmm.
with what he did in a lot of ways.
It's we were just I made one of the best comments the other day about this when I said
Mm,
this was his second match, I believe,
mm,
and was better than his first, and got laughed at
mm.
saying, so out of two matches, this was his best.
I mean, that's
Uh,
what you want. You want
I mean,
your first match to be fine, and then your second match is good. And
yeah,
you're like, hey,
the way I
progress.
phrased it wasn't great, but
Mm, aye,
if you kind of understood where I was going with it, yes.
yes, aye.
The one comment that got brought up, and now I cannot stop seeing it, was that they said Shakespeare had a bit of a Mongo McMichaels look about it.
He does a bit. Aye, it's the ponytail, isn't it?
Yeah, and kind of like
Aye,
the shorts. I'm thinking,
aye.
you know, I can see it, and he
Mm,
does hit like Mongo.
aye,
But
absolutely.
if he's anywhere as good as Mongo was,
Aye.
then he's definitely going to go far.
I was about to say, being Mongo is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. He's like
No,
that's a solid
no,
little career path he can go
he
for.
was a very solid wrestler.
Aye,
So
absolutely.
some do tend to kind of like shit on him and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
he wasn't that
Aye.
good." But if you
Mm.
actually watch a fair few of his matches,
Mm.
he had charisma and
Aye.
he was a solid guy.
Mm.
Um, so, but the you also have interesting dynamic with the two teams really,
Mm.
because you've got the stipulation with Gen 1 of if they lose, disbanded.
Mm.
Strong and Shakespeare, who teamed up on the last show,
Mm.
saw again, much like this one, they work very well as a team,
Mm.
especially as kind of like they're a new kind of like tag team in the division.
Aye.
You really need more tag teams, I feel, in the tag division at the moment.
I was about to say, there's not actually that many overall.
No, there isn't.
Aye.
Was it this time last year? There was a fair few.
Mm.
and you look at it now, and it's kind of like the the cupboard's a bit bare.
Aye.
Um,
Aye.
but the last match saw kind of a miscommunication between the two
Mm.
and led to their downfall. And that would tie in again with this match.
Mm.
Um, kind of teething problems
Mm.
with Strong and Shakespeare. But I sense something may be worked possibly along the lines of that.
Aye.
I
Okay.
could be completely wrong, which I will definitely will be.
Mm.
Um, the match, however, uh, I thought this was a satisfactory match.
Aye.
Um, you never really felt that Gen 1 were going to lose, kind of like
Mm.
what you said, in the
Yeah.
sense of it's far too early to have this stipulation and
Mm.
then just say, yeah, we disbanded.
Yeah.
Um,
You need to kind of
so,
keep building it as it goes until there's more stakes involved, other
yes,
than just we disband.
yes.
Aye. I think
Y-
it's what
y-
I think inevitably it should be Gen 1 going after the titles, and that's where you potentially have something occur.
yeah. It's if
Aye.
there's stakes attached to it, it's going to mean more because if they just have like a any old tag match and then it just ends, say, at like match three
Hmm.
or even say the second match,
Yeah, I was about to say they're not going to
it's
disband in the
been
second match.
pointless.
Aye.
It's been a pointless way of doing it.
Aye.
Um, but yeah, so this, in fairness, there wasn't really a lot to write home about
Hmm.
with this, but it was a solid tag match. Everyone, I
Hmm.
thought, came away from this looking okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I will admit that me and Sam spent a good majority of the match trying to come up with Shakespeare related pun names for Adam Shakespeare. I think I landed on the Merchant of Menace at some point, so
oh, the highbrow fan in the crowd.
there we go. Aye.
Yeah,
I think that's the best one I came up with, and I couldn't really come up with anything much better. I think I tried like a Midsummer Night's Nightmare or something like
yeah.
that, but that doesn't really work.
And we all know what his favorite match stipulation is. No holds barred. I thank you very much. Um,
Fair play. Fair play.
I've been sitting on that for a long
Solid gag.
time.
It's not one of the gags you laugh at, but it's the gag you point out and go, "That's good."
Oh, trust me, I laugh at my own gags because no one else is going to. So
Aye.
someone has to.
You can laugh at it. I will acknowledge it and go, "That's very good."
I'll clip this and just say, see, evidence. Um, yeah, I will say though, out of the four, I do actually think Shakespeare came out of this looking the better of the four. Not that the
Aye.
other three didn't do
Mm.
anything or were terrible. I
Aye.
think it what the three did was help Shakespeare kind of like continue
Aye.
on good footing.
Aye.
Everyone did the role. Um,
Mm.
I know a couple of people didn't like that Bryant was the one that got pinned.
Mm.
Um, but again, like the last time, miscommunication led to Shakespeare
Mm.
being pinned. We get another miscommunication. This time, it's kind of strong that takes the fall.
Mm.
I'm fine with it. To be
Aye.
fair, I'm
Absolutely.
I'm not a grumpy bastard.
Aye. And it sets
I
up the
mean,
little
I am,
dynamic
but
there.
you
It
know,
sets up the little dynamic of, again, the older veteran talent isn't pulling his weight. The younger talent gets to be
yeah,
a bit of a showcase, and you can see there's probably something going to come of that eventually.
yeah. I think with this tag team that they've put together,
Mm.
it's I can see this working out very, very well in
Mm.
future. So
Mm.
it's the I was going to use a word then, and then that's not the word I was going to use. Um, I still can't think of the word, but um, I want to say nucleus, but it's not nucleus. The early
Mm.
stages,
Yes.
embryonic, I
Aye.
want to say, but that's probably not the
Yeah.
word I'm thinking of.
Aye.
Anywho,
Mm.
Gen 1 wins. Uh, pinning, as they right strong with a double team move, which looked like they were giving Bryce the King's chair and then just
Mm,
kind of like planted him face first into the mat.
just sort of like dropped him there.
Yeah.
Aye.
Uh, what time do you think this was?
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go similar to what I did last time. I'm gonna say about like 9 minutes 56.
So close.
Oh,
Well, on the second part, you're very close.
okay.
Uh, it was 14 minutes and 51 seconds.
That's not close at all. What are you on
No,
about?
well, you said 56 seconds, and it was
Hmm.
51 seconds. So on the second part,
That's still
technically
not close.
you're
It's like five
close.
5 seconds out from there, but
It,
still
it
way behind.
it's still closer than minutes.
I got one of the four numerals correct. If we're playing by like Wordle rules, that's like I get the one green,
Oh,
and then the rest are out there.
I don't deal with Wordle. It's bad enough having to watch that TV show when it comes on.
Why?
Not that I watch it, not that I watch
Hmm.
TV at all, but that's a completely different, separate point.
Hmm.
Um, I could be wrong on this, on the order, but I have the Trial of Solomon.
Ah, indeed.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm,
It was necessary in terms of where the storyline was going,
y-
but it has felt a bit
yes.
like it's felt a bit overdue as a sort of development in the long-term narrative of
Mm,
Solomon's breakaway from the Horde. So, and to be fair, for the segment was done reasonably well overall. I think it got exactly what it needed to be, and it did its job, but it felt a bit overdue, I would say.
I hated it.
It's
I
okay.
really did hate it. Uh, that said, as it went on, it's let's look at it from the beginning.
Mm,
Gorgon went or started off this trial, if you want to say, kangaroo
mm,
court, you could call it.
mm.
But it seemed to be uh, hampered by people's phones going off
Yeah, there was a bit of
a
that.
couple of times,
Mm,
and then Gorgon trying to kind of like incorporate that getting angry,
mm,
and then something else would happen, and it just felt like, oh, we're quickly going off the tracks with this.
mm,
Um, and then it went to kind of like the other members of the Horde, with Seraphine and Haley
mm,
Cooling.
mm.
Haley Cooling in that jacket was the only
I
person that
mm.
actually seemed like they turned up for a court.
I loved his look. It was a great look.
Yes,
It's very much like bassist in the Strokes kind of look.
but I wanted someone to wear like a judge's wig or something like
You wanted to play it up a little bit as like it's the
that.
trial. Get a judge in here.
Yes,
Get like
get a table or something. They've done a
aye.
table before.
Get Isaiah Quinn in a little judge's thing. Get him a little gown. Go from there.
Brilliant, brilliant.
There you
That's
go.
what they should have done.
Because you know he'd do it or no?
Oh, you damn right
Absolutely
he
would.
would. He
Love
he
love the opportunity to wear a little outfit.
yes.
Do
Um
a little voice.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um however, I will say, despite me thinking that this was going off the rails quick, quite quite quickly, if we can get rid of my Jonathan Ross disease.
Hmm.
Um, for me, Haley Cooling saved this segment for me. The
Hmm.
most confident talker on the microphone.
Hmm. I
At
really liked his little promo was really good in that
yes,
segment. Aye.
it it made a lot of sense.
Hmm.
It made it feel it made it feel like you was in court.
Aye.
The way he kind of like put his case forward and
Hmm.
explained everything.
I think I like the sort of like difference between. everyone's sort of conversation because Seraphim was very much like the Horde style, house
Yes,
style of a promo. But like Hayley Quillen kind of did have the vibe of someone who's like, I'm just here, this is my gig, this is my
yes.
job. I'm just gonna, I have my opinions, I'm gonna say them, but I'm just gonna, this is my day job. So
I,
it's
I
that
will
kind of vibe of a promo.
I will need to look back on the footage I took
Mm,
on if he did go full blown lawyer and kind of like
mm.
just grab put his thumbs kind of like behind the lapels of his jacket.
I think he was doing a little bit of that stuff. He
I
was doing a little
yeah,
bit of, he was doing a bit of hands in pockets playing as the outfit kind of stuff. He was doing quite well at that.
the almost the I mean of all court cases I've ever seen on TV, the one that I base a lot of stuff on
Mm,
is the I don't know if you'll agree with me on this in terms of anything that's in a court case, lawyers
mm,
wise, it is the humble hyper chicken from Futurama.
mm,
Uh, he is one of the best lawyers on
mm.
TV. Anyway,
Aye.
um,
Those are the mannerisms you want for your high class lawyer.
yes,
You need the thumbs in the lapels. You need the struts back and forth
hmm,
across the floor. You need the whole nine yards.
yeah. I mean, you could
Mm,
go Johnny Cochran route and Chewbacca, but
mm,
I mean, I'd love to see a fight between Johnny Cochran in South Park and the humble hyper chicken from Futurama.
mm.
I may have to create them somehow and
You need to
do that
commission
much.
someone for that.
Yeah, I
That's a
would
commission waiting to
do
happen.
if I was one of those people that love AI, I
Mm,
would, but I don't. I
aye,
hate it.
absolutely.
Um, but in the end, we finished off with Gorgon kicking Solomon out of the Horde
Mm,
um, with as I like to call it, the napkin shirt
mm,
or or what's the
aye.
not the oh God, what's it called? Bunting shirt.
Yes, little tiny bunting poncho he's
Yes,
got.
because
Aye.
I almost wanted at this point when they removed it to just have like another
Just
kind
have
of like
another one
bunting,
underneath.
another one
Aye.
underneath that just had go kind of like Solomon,
Aye.
which I mean would have made me laugh, but
Mm,
we have to we can't all come out with like silly wrestling
no. To
bollocks
be
on
fair,
this one.
it's a lot harder to hide extra shirts underneath one that's that thin to begin with.
Yes,
Because you'll just see it's like, well, he's got like three of them underneath, so
Velcro.
you could, aye, I
Yeah,
suppose. But that's expensive, getting Velcro on shirts as well.
just have a Velcro triangle, and then just rip it off, and you have the other one on it.
Just have little badges you can just rip them off and be like, take that off. This is my new one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think I was more entertained talking about this than actually the actual promo segment, which
Aye.
did
Mm.
in a weird way it did help where they were going with
Mm.
this. They kicked,
It was a necessary
yeah,
evil to go through.
it was a necessary requirement
Mm.
to kick Solomon out, uh, and then which I don't know if the reaction we got to Solomon leaving was what they
Mm.
wanted.
Aye.
Um, so the Horde leave. Solomon is left in the ring, and there's this awkward silence
Mm.
until people start going, "Oh," and then clap him as he leaves. I'm thinking, I don't know what kind of reaction you're
It's
after
it's a little
on that
tough, and
basis.
I think the last couple of times they've tried to do the sort of please have sympathy for Solomon stuff, it's been a little tough because it's a bit like the Kane issue where it's like you need someone who's quite expressive with their body language to get that
Yes.
kind of thing over. And bless him, he's not the best at like delivering just the body language
Hmm.
in some form. So it was a little bit like trying to figure out like him holding it there, pulling it there, like that.
I,
And you only really do it once he leaves. That's when you get the like,
yeah.
oh, clap and all that. So,
I think possibly they were hoping they were going to get the crowd just chant Solomon, and
mm,
it didn't. And it just got
no,
like a golf clap with just
mm,
oh. Um, but yeah, that
mm.
was that.
That was a thing
Uh,
that happened.
Um, I'm trying to think.
You're not going to ask me the time now for the triathlon,
Oh,
are you?
don't worry, I didn't time it.
Oh, good, thank you.
I mean, if you want, I can.
Do you know what? No, I'm good. Let's move to the next match.
Good, because I don't want to. The next match, which was your first half main event, as the
Hmm.
term goes, was Josh Eze taking on the replacement for Aziz
Hmm.
in Oscar Vice.
Hmm.
What was your view on this one?
This was fine. This was good. It continues. Josh Eze continues to be a highlight at a lot of shows he's in. He's similar to Alejandro West in that he's a guy that's got a lot of babyface fire, a lot of high impact stuff, and he's a great face figure to be in there. Oscar Weiss was fine, I think. He wasn't that much of a standout. He was a bit. I was comparing him to Gambit for a good period of before he came, and his whole look was a bit like. So he was. I don't know. He did the job perfect as a baddie, and he played that fine. And very similar to the first match, it did the job, even if it was a less impactful version of that same dynamic.
It, of all the matches we had, I said this on Sunday
Mm,
during the intermission. Of all the matches we had, this one was the one that I kind of thought was a bit of a miss, personally.
mm,
Um, it did feel almost like a bit of a replica of match one,
mm,
um, where Easy kind of took most of the beating.
mm,
Oscar has a very particular style,
mm.
um, to which was it someone mentioned that it has like a European style and
Aye. Well, he is
having
Europe. He was making a big
yeah,
deal of that about
yeah,
being European, and
yes, the
that was
the worst
his core heel tactics were "I'm European, so I'm better than you."
yeah, I'm in the EU and you're not.
Mm. I mean,
And
he says European, but
mm,
I think they've kept where he's actually from quite quiet for fairly
yes,
obvious reasons.
yes.
But we
But
won't
it
go
was
into that.
yeah. But it was when he basically looked over the crowd and he said, I'm in the EU.
Hmm.
I thought that is quite a one of the worst heckles at a crowd I think I've heard
Aye.
for some time.
Hmm.
Because I thought when he said it, I think he expected like a big kind of like outrage, and
Yeah.
everyone just went, "Okay."
Hmm. Yeah.
No,
It's
no
it-
one,
it's
no
like
one particularly cared on that.
it's a hard thing to do in sort of semi-metropolitan Manchester. Like if you
Yeah,
did that elsewhere, if you did like much like smaller, somewhere smaller, if
yes,
you done that in the middle of Doncaster or something, you
yeah.
probably would have worked. But it's like
Certain
most people
certain
here, it's
places,
like,
yes. I'm
aye.
just like,
So
meh,
either it's like, aye, yeah, we all kind of like Europe to be honest. So
yeah. I don't think there's anyone that's actually kind of well, I say
hmm.
everyone. That's probably not fully true.
No, no.
Um, I'll say this for the first half
Hmm.
of the show. There were, and I did say this the other day as well, and I kind of stand by it, having looked at a few things. There were a fair few times where it was kind of like moves to just thin air.
Hmm.
Um, to which we're not stupid. We kind of know
No.
you're supposed to make contact, but
Hmm.
there was a couple of times where it was like a good 2 foot,
Hmm.
and it was just like, oh, okay, I'll go down or do this.
Aye.
Across like the first, well, a few of the first half matches,
Hmm.
if truth be told. Um, this one, it just seemed like they felt a bit off at times. Like,
It felt a bit anonymous as a match
yeah,
because it's like Oscar isn't necessarily as good a heel as Brady is,
mm,
and Josh Eze is much more of a regular, and we
yes,
kind of know where this is going. So it became an inevitable, like, well, we're just gonna wait for Josh to win, and then we can all move on
yeah.
with our day. That was kind of
It,
like no offense to Oscar because he did play that role
oh,
decently enough, but it was just a bit.
he
He
did.
kind of we kind of knew what the vibe was. So
Yeah. The thing was, Oscar wasn't bad at all. He was very good.
absolutely.
It's just the match just felt off to me.
Hmm.
Um, but I did describe Josh Eze the other day as being kind of like Spike Dudley in the sense
Hmm.
that he just gets beat up in every match and then will pull out a win by hook or by crook
Aye.
just to kind of like pick up the win. A
Hmm.
bit very much like Spike Dudley did during the giant kill phase he did in
Hmm.
ECW.
Aye. Indeed.
Um, so, I mean, the result, I think, was never really in doubt.
Hmm.
Um, the match was, I'll say it was fine, but
It
it
was a bit anonymous, but it did the job. It's
it
acceptable.
it
So
did the job.
yeah.
But it's it didn't particularly hit. But as we say,
Hmm.
not every match is
Exactly.
going to hit.
Once you get to around matches 3, 4 on a card, you're a bit like that's where it's forgivable to be a bit
Yeah,
be off.
yeah, and sometimes it's just like the odd show where it just happens.
Aye.
Uh, you can have a day off.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Eze wins anyway with a tornado kick to Oscar
Hmm.
Weiss in a time of
I'm gonna go 11 minutes 20.
9 minutes 43.
I went over this time.
We,
Mm.
I will give you a chance on the next one.
This is why I don't gamble. I've struggled with these things. That's why I don't gamble.
And if you do it responsibly.
Indeed.
Um, so we then go to interval where
Hmm.
I ended up chatting to uh, the lads from Graps and Claps, chatted
Hmm.
to you and Sam,
Indeed.
briefly chatted to Stevie,
Hmm.
the hairdresser. I'm trying to think who else we chatted to during the break. I think that's all
Hmm.
we actually chatted to.
Aye.
Kate was there.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, there.
and then there was kind of like Mike and Craig.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't even think I spoke to Mike that much, which is a very
No.
rarity for me.
Okay.
Um, but anyhow, we came
Yeah.
back off the break and came back with another debutante to Future
Hmm.
Shock in Kian O Connor
Mm.
as they took on Dynamite Lee Dawson. What were
Yeah.
your views on this one?
Uh, I quite like this one. I thought it was another sad little bit. I think there was a little. This worked a bit more because there was a little bit more story stuff around it
Mm,
because of Dynamite's little losing streak he's on
yeah.
and that sort of stuff. And Kian O'Connor was he's a solid, good sort of like heelish character in a lot of ways. He was a little bit more anonymous than a few others because he was just a bit of a guy with a coat and some trousers to some degree. But he once he got in the ring, he was very solid, did everything
Yes.
very well, and it built to the sort of main storyline bit of it, which is Dynamite's losing a bit of his self confidence,
Mm,
tries to do the light fuse, doesn't go,
yes.
roll, roll, roll. It built to what is gonna go on eventually, I assume, with Dawson, and yeah, it was another one where everyone played the role perfectly for what the goal of the match was. So.
Yeah. I, I actually really enjoyed watching Kian O'Connor.
Mm.
Um, I think when you looked at him, you thought, okay, let's see kind of how they go.
Mm.
And I thought he was very impressive,
Mm.
um, for me at least. Um, as you say, with Dawson and the storyline they've got of him on a going through a losing streak, a slump,
Mm.
if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, him doing his normal kind of like loosening the wrist tape to
Mm.
do the light the fuse, which is one of as sad as it is one of my favorite things of wrestlers to do.
Aye.
It falls into the category for me of kind of Patrick Riley mid-match breaking out the not since Andre the Giant has the bear hug been so effective. It genuinely gives
Aye.
me great joy.
It's the little bits that a
It's the
wrestler
little
does to kind of
things.
like do there, and it's the stuff you want sometimes from
Yeah,
a wrestler. They have a
it's
little
it's
bit that you remember.
it's the sad life I lead, Joe. That
Mm.
these are the things that get me through life.
Mm.
Um,
I agree.
but
I
yeah,
totally get what you mean. I always appreciate when a certain wrestler has a little additional bit they always do. That you always sort of are waiting to happen at some stage.
hmm.
So
Some
I always like it gives them personality. It gives them a little
yes,
more. There's an
it
addition
gives
to
them
their character. You see there.
an extra um stripe to their
Aye.
ah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Earns his
It's a part.
stripes,
It's part of the extended character work.
yes,
Aye.
but that is still my favorite thing of CP
Mm.
Riley and the Andre the Giant.
Mm.
As people that have seen my face at Salford when he does it, look at me like I am a child at Christmas. But again, I live a sad life.
Mm.
Don't judge. Uh, yes, so he goes to do the wrist strap and then goes too early,
Mm.
winds it back in. To which I went mad at Lindsay thinking, how is it too early? You you have him
I
where
was
you
about to
want
say,
him.
was it that
Why?
was it that it was too early? Because I got the vibe of like he was doing it, and it was a bit of a like he didn't really have the confidence in it, and he was like, no, 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 and then like that's kind of what was. It felt like an issue of more like he's losing his self confidence in his own abilities a little bit. That felt
No,
like what the story was to some
the,
degree.
the first time he'd done it, it was
Mm,
like, no, 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 I've got more to do.
mm,
And I was going mad, thinking,
mm,
why are you doing this? Pin
mm.
him. You're in control, pin him. You're in a
Mm.
losing streak, Lee.
I
Win.
suppose in his mind, it's like the last times he's done it, he's not won. So I was like, is this what's the thing that's causing me to lose? I
Yeah.
can't do it yet. I need to do
But
something more.
but then the thing that did make me laugh was he then does it later on, and
Hmm.
the wrist tape fell off,
Aye.
almost as if to say, oh, that's a sign.
That was it's is this symbolism? Is that
It's
symbolic? Is that the symbolic wrist tape?
yeah, it's like playing snooker with a rope is one term that came into my head.
Hmm.
Uh, and then that leads to, I think it was Dawson throwing or whipping Connor into the corner.
Hmm.
He goes to hit the move or misses it,
Hmm.
and then O'Connor uses the ropes or leverage to pick up the win.
Hmm.
Um, this is a match that, in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing I can say was bad.
Hmm.
There are a few things I can say that were kind of noteworthy.
Hmm.
Uh,
Aye.
and I actually put this as one of my favorite matches on show one. I think this might
Aye.
actually be my favorite match
It
on
was
show one.
the sleeper hit of show one.
Yeah,
It was the one that probably wasn't didn't have the most hype around it, but when it in the moment performance, it was very well done.
yeah. The more I've actually thought about it, the more I'm thinking,
Hmm.
it had this, it had that. It made a lot of sense.
Hmm.
I'm it's probably up there. It could well be my match of show one.
There you go.
Um, I mean, I'll probably change my mind in about 2 hours' time, but
Hmm.
there is that. So we come to our favorite part of the match. What or how long do you think this went? And I'll help you here.
Okay.
It went over 10 minutes.
Okay. In that case, I think it was probably just about over 10 minutes. So I'm gonna say something like 11 minutes 9.
11 minutes 20.
Oh, I'm getting there.
You're
I'm
getting
getting
warmer.
close. I'm
You're
with it. I
getting
was
warmer.
within the 10-second mark nearly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get by the end of this recording. I'm gonna get at least within 5 seconds.
I, you know what
That's
I'll
the
do
goal.
from now? I will let you have a 5 second disparage of either side.
Okay, I'll take
So
that.
watch it be 6 seconds on the
I
next
will.
one, mate.
I'll take that. I'm glad. I'm glad you're very generous in these rules.
Oh, I try to be
In this very ad hoc
in this
game that we've
economy.
invented.
Um, so we come then to the unofficial main event of
Mm,
this card, which was for the Futureshock Tag Team Titles, the O5 taking on the Tevlins.
mm.
Um, or to give it the full title, Dec Henry and Harvey Dukes of the O5 taking on KJ and Aiden of the Tevlins.
Mm. I have always liked the fact that it's introduced as Aiden Tevlin and KJ Tevlin, the Tevlins.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
you
low
might
key
as
a
well
little
do it
bit I quite like.
alphabetically, at least.
I suppose,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate like name the names.
Yeah.
Oh, something like that always gives me a little pop. I quite like that.
Because it's almost a thing of do you do initials ahead of a full name, or do you do the full name and
Mm.
then do the initials?
It's
It's probably initials. It's like you have AFC Bournemouth and AFC
aye.
Sunderland and things like that. But
Mm.
we're kind of splitting hairs over needless things
Indeed,
here.
indeed.
Um, yeah, what was your view on this?
I thought it was very good. It's two teams who definitely have quite a lot of chemistry between them in terms of
Yep.
their dynamics, and it worked to perfection in terms of what, again, similar to what they were trying to achieve in a
Mm.
lot of ways. It was, yeah, I don't know what else to say really. It's just really good. I'll admit that a little bit of spoiler for later on. Uh, we will be slightly talking about this exact same match again,
Yes.
but this was very much very clearly the first half of everything that was planned to
Yeah.
some degree. And it was the build for a lot of ways, and I don't know, it just succeeded quite well at that and
Mm.
continues the sort of key narrative of the overall stuff we're going for.
So we there was a few moves in this match that I really loved.
Mm,
One thing I will say about the Tevlins is they are, for me, one of the most creative tag teams with their moveset.
mm,
Because we've seen the one where I think it's one of them kind of leans forward, but kind of like arches
mm.
their back. So one kind of like leans out of the ring, or kind of like they go back to back on the ring apron, and then they
Mm.
kind of like come back
Yeah.
into the ring. Uh, I've probably described that terribly, but I, if you know, you know.
Mm.
On this one, they had at one point Dec Henry on KJ's shoulders,
Mm.
and then from there, Aiden picked him up from the outside and suplexed him
Yes.
back into the inside, which was
Aye.
one of the best moves I've seen for a
That was really
long
good. Yeah.
time.
Aye.
Uh, and I will say this as for the Tevlins, of all the teams in the tag team division,
Mm.
while they are and both of these relatively new, really,
Mm.
more so the Tevlins, obviously.
Mm.
I think the Tevlins are a bit of an underrated team
Mm.
because I think they have this kind of goofy, goofy side to them. They're
Mm.
meant to be very serious
Yes.
because they're in the MCPC,
Mm.
but because they have more of like a losing record,
Mm.
if you ever, there's not a single time when you see the Tevlins in a match and you go, that was terrible, or that
Mm.
was dull, or that was just about okay.
Mm.
You come away from every Tevlins match thinking that was a really good match.
They're really just
They're
they
an
have a
underrated team in the whole
indeed.
division.
They have good chemistry as a team. They're clearly students of the game in terms of tag
Mm,
team wrestling, in terms of what they do.
yeah,
And they have that little side bit of personality to them, so they're not just like the tag team in the
Yes.
MCPC. They've got a little bit more of a dynamic going in that respect. And yeah, every match they do, they're going out to impress. They're going out
Yes.
to show that they are a serious team that deserve that
Hmm.
level of respect. So, and that's what you want with
Yeah.
any kind of wrestler, any kind of team. You want them to be going into every scenario being like, I'm here to show out and show what I can do.
Hmm.
And they come to every match with that attitude, and that's always impressive to see.
Yeah. Because they have them. It's rare to have a new team have quite a lot about them as well. Because it's
Mm,
normally kind of you make the show, and
mm,
then it's kind of right. We're going to decide we're going to do big moves, or we're going to do this. And the Tevlins, as every match goes on, seem
mm,
to have add something new to their bow.
mm,
So you've got obviously kind of like brothers as well. They do at times have this whole thing of Aiden looks at KJ quite a few
mm.
times and just thinks, "What are you doing?"
Aye,
And there are
again.
times where he looks at him and just go,
Mm.
"God, how am I related to you?" And
I
then
said
he'll just
it's
do a move.
it's
It's a
it's like we were saying about that little character notes. It's those little
yeah.
touches that kind of flesh out an act in a way that's really impressive.
It really is like a family, like a
Aye,
family, how brothers are. Uh,
aye.
it's just like I'm the better of the other one,
Mm,
and then you'll have one that's kind of a bit more
mm,
boisterous, which is more kind of
aye,
like KJ.
aye.
And Aiden's kind of like I'm going to be kind of like the tougher of the
Mm.
two, and he
Again, you
just
want
look.
again.
It's just
It's big brother, little brother, straight down
yes,
wild card.
it's
It's that
literally
kind of
that,
vibe.
isn't it?
Aye.
Because it's the first time as well. I forgot to do the count of how many times we got a whoop.
Mm.
Um,
You
because
would have been struggling there.
yeah, it's one of my side kind of like uh jobs I seem to do
Mm,
because we tend to count and I completely forgot
mm,
which is more the pity. Uh, we're kind of getting away from the match here though.
mm,
It was a really again entertaining match between two sides
mm,
who are very much equal, I think.
mm,
Um, O5 always feel like they have a bit more over the Tevlins,
mm.
but I think it's them using their experience of
Aye.
right. We've been doing this longer. We know where kind of like we could go wrong. You're making the mistakes we were making like a year
Mm,
ago. Or maybe not a year ago, but
mm,
close to that. So they kind of know what to do because they're better
mm,
suited now. Uh, really good match. Ended with or the lead up to it saw the Tevlins ripping the turnbuckle pad off, having
yes.
referee Liam constantly having to put the turnbuckle
Aye.
pad back on, which I will say I hate these new turnbuckles they've used because they always seem to
Mm,
move around more than the old ones did.
mm,
Um, but it results in the Tevlins looking to have KJ hit a kind of a super lariat on Harvey Dukes.
mm,
Dukes shoves Aiden into KJ, who takes the lariat. And then we get the assisted cutter from Dukes to Henry.
mm,
He hits KJ and they retain the tag titles.
mm,
Um, and then we have the whole fallout of the Tevlins and the O5 still arguing and going at
mm,
it. Tevlins arguing with referee Liam. The Tevlins then leave, and the O5 got a promo saying, we're tag champions, we're fair. If you feel you've been unjust, we'll face you again later on to start show two.
mm. Aye.
And everyone thought, why?
Yeah, it was a
And
bit strange as a choice. It was because I was fully expecting it to be a case of like they would be like, we've done that, sorted, we're defending champions, and then you got again later in the show it was gonna be like it's ambulance versus Horde or something like that, and they
Hmm.
would have been like, whichever team of you wins, you get to be number one contenders, and you can face us, and that kind of sets up where they're going from there.
Yeah,
Or even something like whoever wins, you can go us. But then just being like, oh, we beat you. It was a little bit screwy, so let's do the match
yeah,
again in like an hour's time.
in an hour's time.
It just felt a bit like. Part of me
Yeah,
now thinking about it
it.
feels like is it's the kind of thing where as young wrestlers you might be like, we're that good. Can we just do the match again, like in
Yes,
an hour's time? Can we just like roll it back immediately?
yeah, because I we were talking about it during the interval of I wasn't fully against him doing a rematch
Mm,
if they had added like a stipulation or it was a different match type as opposed to we'll just
yeah.
rerun it because it
Ah,
wasn't a like an off finish.
no.
It was a normal match that had it did have a bit of shenanigans,
It
but
had it had some screwy
yeah,
elements.
but it
So
wasn't something where you thought, oh, that's a controversial finish.
yeah, it was
Let's
screwy elements, but
redo it.
it wasn't anything that you would go, they've been screwed over.
Yeah.
Aye.
So I think there was a lot of people in that room going, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And would continue till we went to show two on that
Mm,
particular basis.
aye.
Uh, your unofficial official main event that did not go and take place was scheduled to be for the Futureshock Men's Championship in Dec McCarthy or Big Dec McCarthy and Troy Ryan. Um, Never got going
Mm.
because we had the Monster Kong spearing uh, Troy Ryan
Mm.
pretty much uh, as he stepped down.
Mm.
We then had the Tevlins get in the ring
Aye.
and attacking Troy Ryan. Dec McCarthy then uh, dashed to the ring. I
The
did
the
like what
best
you was telling
the,
us though.
the best part of this was we and Sam were sat at the back, about to the right of where the fire exit is on the far side, and they'd opened it for a little bit, and then we just looked to the side, and you could just clearly see Deck there with the belt poking his head out, like is he there? Is he there? And then like just waiting, not even trying to really hide that he's there, but just like waiting for the cue to be like, okay, go, like just running out immediately. It was a great visual just to look to the side and just see him there like mm, like hiding
Yeah,
away. It was aye. But yeah, and then he runs out with the belt, and then I'll let you.
yeah. So they basically hold kind of like Troy, so he's defenseless. Deck cracks him in the head with the title.
Mm,
Um, they then kind of get a chair and then look to stretch Troy like he's Stretch Armstrong.
mm,
Uh, get the chair and basically use it on his chest and stomach
mm.
and wear him down.
Aye.
Uh, then they go to replay that move, but I think it was with the chair. I think this time,
Mm,
or it might have been the belt. I can't fully remember.
mm,
This leads to the locker room of
mm.
Futureshock making a beeline.
All
Uh,
the warriors coming
yes,
out.
so they
Aye.
all come out and we get a full scale brawl at ringside
Aye.
um, with the likes of Slam, Proctor. Uh, we had West.
Mm.
Uh, we had a fair few.
Pretty
I
much
think
every single like face in the locker room
yes,
was
it
around.
was all there.
Aye, jumped in. '05, Pele Grayson,
Yeah,
everyone that had either already appeared or was going to appear,
yeah.
who was a face, came out to get the assist.
Because it was the thing that made me laugh as well was I can probably name all the faces, and I think there was only like three members of the MCPC, so they were outnumbered, but it
Aye,
felt very much like it was like six
aye.
on six.
I mean, there was because Aziz has gone off to back to Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
so back to Jeddah to go sell crypto or whatever he does.
Um, so you have that happen, and then they all leave the ring. Troy is a beaten man at this point.
Mm.
He gets the microphone, and I think it's at this point a few of us are thinking, "Oh right, we're setting this up for show two."
Mm.
And he says, "I didn't hear a bell. I'm still good to go." I'm
Mm.
thinking, "All right, show two."
Mm.
And then he goes, "We have a big match or a big show coming on the horizon on
Mm.
August 15th." I'm thinking, "Oh, they are doing what I thought weeks ago."
Mm.
Uh, to which they announce that Dec and Troy will meet for the Futureshock men's title in a no disqualification match,
Mm.
which will be your main event of show two. Um,
Which means it's definitely going to happen this time.
yes.
Yeah.
I did a fair few weeks ago predict this is probably what they were going to do.
Mm.
I did. Now, there's a lot of people that I know went to this show solely for
Mm.
this match,
Yeah.
and they were fuming come
I'm
the
not
end of it.
surprised. Aye.
Uh, a couple I have heard have now said they will not come back to a Future Shock show
Mm.
because of this.
Mm.
Um, but I can understand why they were angry.
Mm.
Equally, I understand why they have gone down this route
Mm.
because it is one of two storylines that are ongoing
Mm.
in Future Shock,
Aye.
and both have now been set for the anniversary show. The second
Mm.
one we will mention in a wee minute where we touch on
Mm.
show two. Um, so while annoying for those that came for that,
Mm.
just to see this match, it does make more sense to have it
Yeah.
held off till then.
Mm.
Uh, but again, if you're more of a casual fan and this is kind of the only one that you turn
Yeah.
up and you don't get it, I understand.
I do. I
Uh,
do. I do sympathize with it to some
yeah,
degree, but also in my mind, I'm a little bit like they wouldn't put that match on the first show.
yes,
Like in it's a little too big to be what is effectively the first half main event.
mm,
Because then you look at every other match and you're like, well, what's going to be the second half main event?
yeah.
And there's no other match that has any level of that build or that like hype around it in the same way.
Well, there's two thoughts I had on this. So what they could have done was have 5 minutes and then kind of it lead to nothing, like a no
Mm.
contest, and they go, right, we'll do this properly at the anniversary show.
You do a little bit of the match and
Yeah,
then you do the big interference and do
because
the huge spot
you
from there.
because then the ones that have turned up for that match don't feel like they've been
Yeah.
robbed.
You technically got the match, so
Yes, the other way to go down it was you have exactly the same thing. You have a match, a full scale brawl,
mm.
and then show two, uh, you then have Dec or Troy come out and just saying or have Troy come out and says, right, it's been set.
Mm.
What happened earlier? I got screwed over for a title
Mm.
match. Uh, I've now been told by the big bosses that I am getting a rematch, or we're going to get this match happening, and it's going to take
Mm.
place at the anniversary show. Those are the two things he could have gone down,
Aye.
which I think out of them two would have pleased more people than kind of
Yeah.
what we got.
Aye. You could have,
Again,
or
you
you
can
could have
sympathise on both.
You could have
On
potentially, if there was time, because I feel like time might have been a big issue as well. But
yeah,
if you had time, you could have turned it into a big all-star kind of tag, where it's like, right, we're not having the
yes,
match now,
I actually thought
but
that's where they were
get
going.
get the goodies, get the baddies, have a big all-star multi-man, and that's at least then you can say that's a big main event.
Yeah, because if you do that and say the all five got pinned,
Mm,
you then set up where oh right we have mm, they beat the all five so they can now count themselves as
no,
possible number one contenders.
absolutely, yeah.
But you know
Mm.
it's
It may have been there may have been constraints on what they could do depending on time
Yeah.
and other thing, and the roster they had on the day. So it's they did the best with what they had. I feel.
Yeah. It was one of the things as well of show two felt a bit hit and miss. Sorry, show one felt a bit hit and miss, I felt. I came into it full of hope and excitement and came away with it feeling a bit kind of like down on it. To which we go our separate ways for the intermission.
Indeed.
We come back for show two. And my thoughts going into this was on paper, this didn't look the strongest card. However, this for me was, I thought, the better of the two shows. I know a few people have, or Sam and Miles at least, friends of the show, they thought show one was much better than show two. I thought more happened on show two than show one and made a bit more sense. However, I just remembered I did not ask you the time on the tag team.
I thought I nearly got away with that. Then this would have gone decently long, I feel. So I'm gonna go 60 minutes 17.
16 minutes and 14 seconds.
Oh, that's so close. I
mean, you got within 5. I'll give you.
I'm taking that as a win. I have not embarrassed myself today. I'm still aiming to get on the dot now, but I can leave here happy. I can leave knowing I've not embarrassed myself.
Right.
At least that much. No more than I already did.
Right. I was just looking on show two because I did write the times down, but I have not put them on the document.